Bradley University is training students in the field of solar energy. That's just one of the things you'll want to hear about to start your day for Tuesday, May 14th. I'm Colin Shope, and this is WCBU's On Deck. First on deck today, medical professionals are asking you to consider rolling up a sleeve and giving blood now before the beginning of summer trauma season. Dr. Farhan Bokhari is trauma director at OSF St. Francis Medical Center. He says as the temperatures rise, more people suffer injuries from incidents like car and motorcycle crashes, farm accidents, and gunshot wounds.
People hemorrhage from those injuries, and you need to get blood into them fast. You have the golden hour, and you have to resuscitate them back to where they used to be, or the rate of death is extremely high.
The golden hour refers to the critical 60 minutes after a traumatic injury. A patient's outcomes are greatly improved if they receive treatment within that time frame, and that includes blood transfusions. Organizations like the nonprofit blood center Impact Life provide that blood to hospitals. Impact Life has a distribution center in Peoria just minutes away from OSF. Kirby Wynn is their public relations manager.
We are currently at a 2.5-day supply of type O negative and a 3-day supply of type O positive.
A day's supply means the typical daily use for the more than 100 hospitals in Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, and Wisconsin that Impact Life serves. Here are some other stories we're following in the WCBU newsroom. Illinois lawmakers are considering a bill that would allow workers to skip religious or political meetings at work without facing a reprimand. And proponents of a measure to let terminal patients in their own lives are increasing pressure on state lawmakers. And Illinois union leaders are urging state lawmakers to reject plans to close 2 prisons. Plus, a new study hopes to help black women in labor across Illinois be more seen and heard by their doctors. Find more of these stories and all the details at WCBU.org. Federal and state tax breaks urge people to purchase solar panels for their homes and businesses, but concerns remain about how to get continuous power from solar panels. Bradley University will use a federal grant to find solutions to those solar energy storage concerns and train students to enter the solar field. WCBU's Cameron Cutinello reports.
David Zietlow is a professor of mechanical engineering at Bradley. He says solar power is a necessary component to combating climate change, but people also need to ensure their homes always have power. He says the $950,000 grant will be used to fund a solar energy research lab. The main purpose will be to find ways to create continuous energy from solar.
So like with a coal-fired plant or a fossil fuel plant, as long as you're feeding fuel to it, you have power. Right, so it's like you can get continuous power. But with solar, you get the rated power only at solar noon on a sunny day. So if it's a cloudy day or if it's later in the day, you don't get as much power.
The lab will train 32 students each year. Students will learn the operation of photovoltaic cells, which are used in solar panels, and battery storage. They'll also learn about backup systems such as gas turbines. Zietlow says gas turbines produce about half of the carbon dioxide coal-fired plants do, making them more desirable as a backup option.
Engineers are problem solvers, and so we're looking to solve problems, and part of the solution will be an intermediate solution, I believe. Then the other thing that's a key part of this lab is to replace furnaces that use natural gas or oil, replace those with heat pumps, which use electricity.
Batteries currently exist to store solar energy, but not many companies make them. They are often too costly for people. Benjamin Tiger is the founder of Solar Panther in Peoria Heights. He says one battery can cost $15,000 and only powers a house for about 8 hours. He says this means people typically need 4 to 5 batteries for a single-family home. About 5% of his clients purchase batteries. Tiger says his company does about 500 roofing and solar projects a year. With recent increases in energy costs, more people are making the switch. He says solar projects cost anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000. Tiger says people raise concerns about the costs and if they'll get enough sun to power their homes.
Here in Illinois, people don't think we get much sun compared to a state like California, but we actually get quite a bit of sun. As long as your roof pitch faces south, east, or west, you're in good shape. If you have a north-facing pitch, you're probably not getting much sun there.
Zelo says there's going to be a bigger demand for people in the solar field in the next decade, and Bradley will now help train that workforce. Funding for the grant will not be released until this September. Zelo says they'll then have to wait for the equipment to be delivered. He anticipates the program will be able to start by September 2025. Zelo says the main goal of the project is to fight against climate change with renewable energy sources.
So it does get us more green, but I think the global warming issue is a global issue. And so even if the United States improves our carbon footprint, we've got to get other countries to come alongside of us.
Bradley is also partnering with Nexamp Solar Farms to power all of their campus buildings. Leroy Nielsen is a utilities supervisor at Bradley. He says the university will serve as an anchor account. Residents and businesses in the area can also sign on.
It provides a financial benefit to the university, plus it helps contribute to the overall sustainability and green energy efforts in the state of Illinois. So it's a win-win.
Bradley is expecting to save around $115,000 annually in energy costs. The energy from the solar farm goes directly into the grid and will be delivered to the university through already existing infrastructure.
It's a complex system. It utilizes a diversified technology of different ways of producing electricity. So we know that coal-fired plants are being phased out. There's still nuclear power. There's still power generation facilities that use natural gas.
The solar farm is still being constructed, but Bradley will make the switch when it's completed. For WCBU, I'm Cameron Cutinello.
Now, before we let you go, tonight is a regular meeting of the Peoria City Council. Those meetings start at 6 p.m. in council chambers at City Hall on Fulton Street. The meeting is also streamed live on WCBU.org and on the air at 89.9 FM. And that's all for today. You can subscribe to WCBU's On Deck podcast on the NPR app, Apple, or Spotify.